cell phones are tied to GPS All right, so we are starting. It's on the right
aged over 10 months, $5.
The question is not relevant to your
so that's not real permanent?
What are your thoughts?
Well, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't have a long...
This is to make sure that we don't get started.
Pass it around. Pass it around.
We discussed a lot.
We need always someone to provoke us, you know, we need someone. Okay. All right, let's start Siv Gimel again. Just, we already spoke about, and I said I'm going to elaborate about a question, so I'll up the end of the sheet, but let me just go back to say Siv Gimel.
Page 388.
And just a mechaber quickly. Let me just go back and so it says, Uchel tafshil shel Bosor. He eats a tafshil of meat. Tafshil of meat means not that he eats, you know, rice and pieces of chicken or meat inside. That if you eat, you know, there's pieces of meat inside, that's a problem. You added taste to the potatoes or the rice, you put some taste into it, fat, that gave it a taste. Not mamoshes, not that you have pieces of meat, because there's no shear. Remember we spoke about it, a guy eats just a little meat, he becomes fleshig. The Mechaber is trying to tell us a kula. So if you have, the Mechaber is bringing, if you have a tafshil that has a meat tafshil, which means, let's say you put some fat of a chicken into a fat of a meat into potatoes and you mix it. Just the taste.
What left us last week was a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Can you just by heart go, what happens if a person cooks in a pot that was fleshing? That was worked within 24 hours, after 24 hours, before we come to the
Yeah, well, this is, should I start before Srs11 comes? He's going to ask again the question. That's what happened last week. He always comes like, one, I could start this question. Okay, this really, I want to tell you an interesting thing. When I was a young teenager, and I learned that smicha, and the yeshiva where I learned, they started with a different simon. They started with the simon tzadik hey nat var nat. And I was very surprised, and it took me years later to realize, to appreciate why he did this. So I will anyways need to hear that simon a lot. And so let me just introduce the concept, what nat banat means, and I know that the Sfardim have a great kulas over here, and just today someone asked me, a Sfardi called me, and but let me explain the whole Gemara. The Gemara says like this. Let me just quote the Lashon Gemara: Dogim she'oli bekara, fish that you put into a kara, you cooked fish in a fleshige pot, and you put into a kara, or the plate was fleshig, either way. That means dogim she'oli bekara, so you're allowed to eat it with kutach. You're allowed to put onto the fish, you're allowed to put sour cream. Remember I explained this, that from here it's clear, you're allowed to eat fish with sour cream. You know, let's not go into that anymore. But that's, as I always say, when people ask me this question, are you allowed to eat cream cheese with lox? I say, there's a sefer called Talmud Bavli, and the Gemara says you're allowed to. Anyway, when that's the case, the Gemara says you have fish that's cooked, and I put it into a plate, and push shot, you learn to put the plate is fleshik. So now, if I put hot fish into a plate, and let's learn the plate is hot, also hot, so when we say that the blia in the plate went into the fish, so this fish has a taste of meat in it. What it says, you're allowed to put sour cream onto it and eat it. Why? Because it's called a nat bar nat. Nat means nois and tam, means it gives taste. As the son of something gives a taste. That means in order this fish to become fleshig, first this plate had to be flesh absorbed into it, and now you put the fish onto it, so the taste that's in the plate went back into the fish. And now I want to eat it with sour cream. It's not a problem. That means it's called, you understand what now nois and tam? I had a taste that went into the plate, and from the taste that went into the plate went now into the fish, and it's still, now I want to put sour cream, it's called a nat banat. The most practical question that always comes to us, anyone asks, can I know many children, is, your wife makes potatoes, and one of the children decides that, she wants sour cream, no fleischiks for me tonight. Always, so bekitzer, so that is, if let's say the pot was used in the 24 hours, so the pot is called a nat banat. There was a fleishige taste that went into the pot. From the pot it went into potatoes. And now I want to put sour cream onto it. It's called a nat bar nat. This is the famous question about this nat bar nat. And so there is a lot of different halachas, leketchila, and how much leketchila, and how far we go. But the question that he addressed, Yisraeli last week, that I want to address now, what happens, this is how the question started. And the question he asked is, you bake the potatoes, a kugel he asked. The potato kugel you make in a fleshige oven. See, I have said this often, that soon we're going to, my daughter, one of my daughters got married. Can I have many children married already? But she only knew of a house with 2 ovens. My other children knew of a house with 1 oven. She grew up in a house, we had 2 ovens, 2 trashing and milk in the bottom. How am I going to rent out an apartment? I don't have 2 sinks, I don't have 2 ovens, it's going to be a tray for kitchen. You know what I mean? So people can think that you must have two sinks, you must have 2. The meaning, never would we say Baruch Hashem so wealthy, but really, if you cook a potato kugel in a fleshige pot, even if you want to say the fleshige kugel, you're very, very machmer, you're worried that maybe there's some fleshige taste in the kugel, you ate the kugel, you don't become fleshig. That's number 1. You understand? That means if I cooked the potato kugel in a fleshige oven, you do not become fleshig. Even better.
If there was meat cooking there at the same time.
No, the meat of cooking, then it's a big machlokes. But that's a big machlokes. I rather leave it for later because to understand. But that's for sure. The common question is that do I become fleshig or not? Pashtas, even when you cook, what's his name? Even when you cook, I'm making myself. This guy tells me cook potatoes in a fleshig together with the chicken. Together you wipe it together, same time. It's only eating it, the potato kugel, you shouldn't eat it with milchiks, but you do not become fleshig. No, even meat. I'm just saying, the meat doesn't make a difference. If you eat meat, it doesn't make a difference. The point is that when you eat the potato kugel, you do not become fleshig. And the reason is because the worst thing is it could only a reicha. We learn a whole sugi reicha means it gets a good smell. You don't become fleshig by eating this potato kugel. Okay? You shouldn't eat it together. If it was cooked together, you don't put sour cream onto it. But you surely do not become.
It was in the oven.
Yeah, no, together in the oven.
We're assuming the oven is no zayah.
We're assuming there is no zayah in the oven.
Correct.
Right. And which 90, I said this more than once, you could try it out your own oven. And Luchem always challenges me. I tried out the oven. And did you try it? You spoke about it once already.
Yeah, we spoke about it last week. So now it's good. So let's get it clear. So the Tauber said there's no zayt. And reicha.
And the only problem that's reicha. Reicha means there's a smell, a odor. So that's you don't. So this is the most important thing because everyone asks. This is one of the questions. I should have someone program my new iPhone to write this question. I have an automatic answer. This is the most common question. Do I become fleshigs? It was in the oven together. We're not together. Can I eat it? This is the very common. So you got to remember, even if you bake the meat together with the potato kegel, and the potato kegel, you don't become fleshig now that you have to wait 6 hours. You don't. That's not the. You don't have to. If you. Yes.
Would the same logic apply for a treif oven if you go to somewhere where it's not kosher?
The truth is, it does apply. But I always tell people for safe, because most often treif ovens, I heard this from many people who do managing apartments, tell me that non-Jewish people, for some reason, never clean the ovens. Jewish people, no matter if they only have one oven, it's much cleaner. But if there's mamoshes, then we go into mamoshes means real.
The practical thing is you have Jewish family that's not from, that you go to their house and
all you got to do, right? You want to heat it up, just cover cover it. Just wrap it.
Like in the airport.
Just wrap it.
Yeah.
Once or twice.
Well, you don't have to wrap it twice. You wrap it well. It's because there's no zaya and nothing will happen to it. No, I'm not going to.
I want to say one thing about Tauber. If there's mamoshes, how is the for mamoshes different than having meat in the oven? That's also mamoshes.
Well, it's because, but most. Why do I say this? But most people, from people who Vecholov, there's no mamoshes in the top, not really in the bottom, right in the top. The spritzes and they clean it and not clean it. People have told me,
You're afraid of something
fizzing on top. I heard this from people who do managing apartment, how's it called, real estate manager. The young people tell me, I have a guy who comes to me Shabbos and he does a lot. Tells me I could tell exactly if we moved out, there was a Jew, non-Jew. He says and even the fried Jews are much cleaner than he says the Koreans, and they're much cleaner. It's just it's a cultural thing. Anyway, so I want to just focus. It's very confusing,
So Reich is worse than not.
So we don't become. So you put the potato kegel into the oven. Remember this: you put the potato kegel even into the oven together with the meat. You eat the potato kegel or whatever other dish you have there. You do not become fleshig. Very simple. But we do paskin. Don't put sour cream onto the potatoes. But if there was no meat in the oven, just put in potato kegel. I know you're going to hear from other rabbis differently, but my humble opinion is that our ovens, there is no zaya, so if you you just cook potatoes, even though you cooked meat before that, you could put on sour cream on the meat, on the potatoes. Yes?
Just to clarify, because here we're learning about kavshu. If you have something that's not mamashus, that's just taste, like chicken broth, you're making mashed potatoes with chicken broth, is that considered, is this the same
Just a
thing?
tafsha. No. Let's stop for a minute. No, the rabbi wanted we should skip this for a minute. So I want to, I'll get back to this. Yes. So now, again, so you do not become fleshig. I want to just repeat this.
Does foil matter if it's wrapped in tin foil or not?
What do you mean the matter? What does that mean?
Meaning this means that neither of them are wrapped. They're just one.
Yes, neither wrapped. So you cooked in one oven. You ate the potatoes together with the chicken or meat, and it doesn't make a difference.
Together, separate pots.
Separate pots. You do not become fleshig by eating this. This is the most common question.
You're saying the chicken will by a pot as well? If I cook the potato in a fleshig pan, in a fleshig oven, same thing. Is it still not by not?
It's a not banat. It's still a not banat.
That's only if the pot is.
Yeah, well, I want to get to it. The not banat. The old not banat is confusing. Maybe I should have someone type over the badregas. The Svardim are very lucky. If because they have incredible coolers, but not banat. But we Ashkenazim have like every chumrah almost in the book. Yeah. Okay. Okay. The Ashkenazim claim. You know what the Ashkenazim claim? The historians tried to figure out, nothing against the Sfardim, but I come from a city, my grandparents come from a city called Paksh, in the middle of Hungary. And I happened to go there 2 years ago, and the city, we know that in the Gulish, Spain, there were 40 Svardish families who moved there, from Gulish, Spain. They had their own basic quarters, still called the basic quarters, called the Svardish basic quarters, which means they're really Svardim. It didn't take long, 3 or 4 generations, they all became Ashkenazim. So, I heard from an Israeli also, he was Sfardi, who was a historian, and even Israel, all the Sfardim become Ashkenazim. The Kula, the Chumra, they wear wigs, the Fruma. A lot of wigs, the Sfardim hold the Shetel, right? Shetel, wow, the Sfardim, there's no hat for a Sfardim to wear Shetel. There's no hat in the world. They wear Shetel, the Kula, the Chumra, you know what I mean? Like I was saying. But the truth is, that they claim, the Ashkenazim claim, because we Ashkenazim have more chumras than the Sfardim. That's, I don't know, or the Yah or the 9. I don't know. But anyways, as a rule in Yeridea, we have a lot of chumras in Yeridea. The only place in Yeridea we don't have chumras is the Hilchas Ribbis. The Remu, any kula you could imagine, the Remu brings down. And Hilchas Ribbis. Comes to Parnusa, we have it's true. Anyways, so I let me just make this. So this is, I want you to remember, this is very, very important. This is a common question. So if you have potatoes cooked in a fleshig oven together with meat, as long as the spritz one to know that just because it was cooked on it, you don't become fleshig. That means eating the potatoes. So anyway, the next thing, the next will be, so like I said, if it's cooked together in an oven, don't put sour cream onto the potatoes. Okay, that's because there's zayah. But if you cooked it not together in the oven, you cook potatoes in the fleshig oven, let's say you do have a fleshig oven, you put the potatoes into the fleshig oven, you're allowed to put on it sour cream.
Does that mean that you can cook milk instead of fleshig oven?
Till now, till 20 years ago, till everyone had one oven.
What I'm saying is you don't even have to, if I'm cooking lasagna in the oven, I just cook the roast in it.
It's about I hold there's no zayah, but if you really want to be machmer, many had the meaning in Europe that way. They just burned it out. Just burn it out.
That's kosher here already.
Well, that's it.
Do you have to do a self-clean or
No, you don't need a self.
What else
No, you don't need a self.
Burning it up right now. Burn it up.
Burn out. You let it burn for 20 minutes. If it's very, very hot, so any mamosh is there, the hottest temperature for 20 minutes or whatever is. But if mamosh is, it turns into dust, turns into nothing. Because by Bosor Vecholov there's a famous Rav. It's a it's a Nekuda Sekesev and Tzadik Beis, but the Rav is always quoted because the Rav writes in Hilchas Pesach that from Bosor Vecholov, even something that's need libben, you don't need libben, you just need libben kal. You know what libben kal means? You don't have we spoke about it in last Pesach. So you don't need to mamish, make it boiling hot. Just a very, very hot is good enough. So if you're worried that it milchiks, that's how if you want to milk. No, I'm talking about from milchik to fleshik. So treif oven, I disagree, greatly with the Chabad because they hold that you got to use a torch, and if you got to use a torch, you can't kasher an oven. Because the rule is, if you want to use a torch, you're afraid to use a torch because the ovens break. One guy said it over here. One guy tells me over here that his father every second year had to buy a new oven. Who said it? Told me over somewhere. But a peloch, you really don't. All you need is to make it very, very hot. Self-cleaning, not a self-cleaning. You clean it out, you burn it out. It's. Yeah. Let me just focus on not kosher. Come back. So again, if you cooked in the oven, I'm talking about an oven. Get to a pot. If you cooked in the oven, potatoes, if there was no meat there, then you could put sour cream on it. That's not bad. But now, then let's go back to the potatoes. Now, if you let me explain something. We Ashkenaz, I don't know, is anyone Svardim over here? You know you got to be Svardim, or you not know you got to be Svardim?
They sit in the back.
What do you say? So, because the Svardim, Mechaber has a huge kula. And we Ashkenazim do not accept the kula. Now, none of the Ashkenazim. The Mechaber, the Remud, the Taz, Shach, and all the Achreinim. But the Mechaber, Sfardim have an opinion that the Ketchille, you're allowed to cook potatoes in a fleshige pot, and even though it's a ben yoimai, knowing that you're going to use it to sour cream later. So the Sfardim really have the extreme kula. You understand what I just said? That you can cook potatoes in a fleshige pot, and knowing ahead of time, I always give the mashal. You have many children. Because we went through at Kufa, one of my daughters had, today she's a mother of 5 children. She had this mishigaz when she was a teenager. She didn't want to eat meat. So bekitza. So, my wife knew. She's cooking potatoes, and Sarah is not gonna eat, she's gonna put sour cream onto it. So if it's us Ashkenaz, Sfardim, there's no problem whatsoever, according to the Sfardim. Even it's a ben yoimai, and it's called a nat banat, since that means, again, nat banat means the pot got a bria of meat once, you washed it out, now you put potatoes into it, so now the blia from the pot went into potatoes, it's called twice nat. Nat means the taste went into the pot once, now when you cook potatoes, the taste from the pot went back into the potatoes, it's called a nat banat, and it's called a teda. So according to the Sfardim, the Getchille you can put on sour cream. We Ashkenazim are machme. Do not do it like Getchille. If it's a ben yoimai, for sure don't do it. That means if I have a pot, which was used the last 24 hours for fleshi, your wife wants to cook now potatoes, knowing that one of the children is going to put sour cream on it, do not do it. If it's a ben yoimai. And if you did it, then b'di'evet it's okay.
If it's an 80 b'di'evet?
One second. Let me just first. You understand? If that means if it's a beyoy means for sure it was used the last 24 hours, and you cook potatoes. If you know ahead of time that's going to happen, do not do it this way, and then don't put not even ahead of time. Not even ahead of time. You think better even. And if it's right now, the potatoes in front of you, do not put sour cream. But if you put sour cream on it, it's okay. But even it's okay.
Does the same apply for a microwave oven, or is that completely different?
No, I'll get to microwave. It's a little different. Remind me in a minute. I'll get to microwave oven. It's a whole different. So this is one thing, and that's one nakuda. And the second nakuda, what he asked, Nochon. I was driving here, I thought of Nochon. I'll tell you a word that I thought about Nochon afterwards. So the second chalik is, what happens if it's Eine Ben Yoima, he wants to know. But Eine Ben Yoima is a big machlekes between the Vilna Gaon and the Chachma Sudam. I don't know what they teach in Chabad schools, but lately I noticed in all the Besyankiv schools they teach the Chumrah. Because the rule in Halacha is, since a few are Choshev Achrei Machmer, I know that I grew up, never knew of this chumrah, but I see many of the Lekutim, the Chachma Sodom. Chachma Sodom argues with the Gun also with that. That means if you're eine beyoimai, the Chachma Sodom says still do not cook if you know ahead of time that this is going to happen, that your daughter's going to, like my case, if you know ahead of time, you cook potatoes and but the Gun holds its mitzvah.
So no flesh at all. So just use the pot.
Yeah, that's right. That's why. It's very rare that's Negeya. Answer his question. That's why it's so. We have the problem less because Baruch Hashem, most people have a part of a pot. It's not expensive today. Pot's really not comparable what what people earn. Another pot is gefährlich, and you have a part of a pot. That's what. So again, it's if it's a beyoimoy, you're not allowed to do like a tchila, and don't put sour cream in tchila. And if it happened, it's okay. Eine beyoim is a big machlekes, and what should I tell you? I am makel in my house. That's what I could tell you. I like to stick to the halacha what I learned. I don't like to pick up hummus as I get older. I say certain things grow. I always tell the people the sheitlach grow and the stramlach grow, and certain things that the bechers grow. Certain things keep on growing, and oibis mantfil also keeps on growing. In my shul, I had noticed lately, 9, 10 o'clock, a packed,
Everybody becomes Ashkenaz and then wow.
How does that apply to a Tauber?
Not there, that's something else. Tauber Charav is the whole thing. You want? I'll explain this since we're on the topic. And I know I'm going to have to repeat this again. So the Tauber Charav means this way. Tauber Charav means you cut your onions. This is very, very important. You cut your onions with a fleishige knife. Cutting onions with a fleishige knife, then the onions becomes fleshig, and there's no heter a nat bar nat. That means the cool now. Both you have a meat knife which your fleshige knife, and you used it a week ago, and you cut onions now. So what is the onions? It's called a nat bar nat. The taste of meat went into the knife. Now the taste of from the knife went into the onions. It's twice. But Tauber Charav, onions, knobbel, whatever other, the Persians have other sharp food you cut. It does make a difference. Then we say the taste of meat went into the knife, and even though it's an Ein B'yoyma, and that means the onions have a power to take out the taste from the knife back into the onions, even though it's Ein Ben Yoimai, it makes in the Ben Yoimai, and the onion is fleshig, real fleshig, and we are machmer even b'di'evet. So it's called the naba Tauber Charav. You understand what it means? Again, this is very important. Cutting an onion, cutting garlic, any sharp, really sharp thing. Hot pepper. Lemon is not there. Lime is not sharp, but it has to be like an onion at least. There's these sharp things. So then, again, the knife, if it was fleshig, makes the onions, makes the only sharp thing, makes it a fleshig, and even b'de'evid, it what?
And when you eat the onion, do you have to wait 6 hours?
Now I'm going to but you first got this. So there's no heter of nat banat by Tauber Charav. It's very uncommon. The Shulchan Aruch says if you cook the Tauber Charav in the pot, which is very rare, but someone told me some of the Sfardim have it. They do extremely Charav things in the pot. Any Sfardim, but you really Charav. Someone, a Sfardi once told me, yeah. No. But besides that, you take the whole pel may be Charav, a dish that be very, very Charav. Someone told me there's certain fish shows, a Sfardi told me once. It's very, very sharp. So then, the same thing, if the pot is an Ein Ben Yoimai, so the fish thing became fleshig.
So can you cook fish?
Well, because fish are meat, yes, you could. It's only blear.
It's only the sliver that touched the knife. It's not
No. We pasken. So b'choikes, if it's kedei netila, the whole onion, we're machmed the whole onion. That's what we machmed. Now, the second question is, do you become fleshig if you ate the onion? That's a huge machlokes. And as again, when I learned the first time, my Rav told me, of course you don't. So today they bring down some bring down a prima goda. I tell people, you don't become fleshig by eating the onions. When someone ate these onions now in a salad, does it become fleshig to wait 6 hours? No, you don't. You shouldn't eat it. You should rinse your mouth out, and but you don't become fleshig. You have to wait 6 hours.
Okay. What's the status of the knife that cuts the onions? 2 weeks later, I want to use it to cut something. Does the knife only be used for fleischigs at that point? Or
It's a fleshig knife. You just said.
yeah. No, I mean, but the thing is that a knife after a day, only the.
Yeah, but he's saying not by Tauber Charav not. Remember, Tauber Charav even those Ein Ben Yoimai.
I think don't cut something hard. Cut something that's hard, that's not hard.
You don't have 2 sets of you don't want 2 sets of cutlery. You want to use all of everything.
Don't cut fish.
Don't do that.
Don't cut fish, it becomes fish.
Don't do that.
I understand.
You can't do that.
You want to cut
That's
fish?
not what he's at.
No. Say
You cut an onion, and a week later you cut an apple.
Yeah.
Does that apple become fleshig? So you cut an onion with a fleshig knife, and a week later you cut an apple.
No,
That's what's his question.
I mean, see, you cut an onion. That's what you want to know.
Fleshig knife.
Yeah, but so the knife is no. We don't. A knife doesn't become charav. The knife is a fleshig knife. The question is the other way around. Let me tell you what is a real problem, and it's a huge machlokes in the achronim. A blender. Okay, so you cut onions with a fleshig knife. Now you put the onions into the blender. Do we say that the blender now became fleshig? How far? The Vecholov. Yeah, it's cold. But dover charev. Let me start again. A dover charev, even it's cold. Remember, I'm cutting an onion with a fleshig knife. I will repeat this again. Onion with a fleshig knife. It's cold, and the knife was used 10 weeks ago, or Nochum would like to say 5 years ago. You know, it doesn't make a difference. It is an old knife, and Chazal say it's a dover charev, that we say the taste of the onion went into the knife, even though it's cold, even though it's any ben yoimoi, it becomes the taste of the knife into the onion, and it becomes fleshy. Now the second thing, now you took the onion and you blended it. Do we say that the blend knife from the back, from the onion into the knife? So does the blender become fleshig? This is the famous question. What?
I said, I hope not.
You hope not? Well, that's not so simple. I want to tell you a cute story. There was a bocher who came home from yeshiva. He knew this chumrah, and his mother didn't do this. He came home, you know, typical bocher. He's not eating at home. His father sends him to me. He calls me up ahead of time that my bocher is coming to you. Just make sure. Just make sure every kula you had. Otherwise, it's on Tisha B'av this yontif. The kitchen not kosher. And, so Betzim, this is a huge machlekes. I don't remember what the Rav speaks about it, because in Hilchos Pesach the Mishnah speaks about it. I don't remember if the Rav speaks about it. But the Maisa, it's a machlekes Shishim Avram and the Even Oizer. Two Gedolei Achronim. Do we say, how far do we say the Nat Benat goes? You understand? Do we also say it goes back into the blender? You follow what I just said? We know from the knife into the onion. But now that you blend the onion, do we say now I went back from the onion into the blender? That's why people have a separate blender. We also have a separate one. You know, milchus and fleishiks. Like this, you know what the fleshik is fleshik, what's milchik is milchik. But you have it, you could be mekel. You know, I can't say you have to be machmer. Many achronim are mekel. Megavrom is machmer, and I don't know. I don't remember if the Rav. Do you know if the Rav speaks about this? I don't remember now. I mean, if it happens, you're not going to have to say the. Yeah, but if it's best if you could have a separate blender. I mean, you ate a flavor of what?
If I use the onions to flavor chicken, even though they're flavored onions, I'm not eating the onions, I eat just soup, that would be okay.
Well, you don't become fleshig even in the onions. I said you don't become really fleshig. Again, let me explain this. Let me explain this. You don't make milk together, but you don't become. I want to tell you the Amach Mirim who says you do become fleshig. But the Maisa, the meaning is not that way. Well. I just want to focus again. So I just want to focus on this. So again, well, let me just repeat this. I just want to repeat this to make this clear. So the onion becomes fleshig if you use a fleshig knife to cut the onion. But you don't become, let's say you put the onion into a salad. This is the most common thing. You cut the onions and put it into a salad. You don't become fleshig just because the onion. Best thing, if you want to really do the right thing, you rinse your mouth and you could have your ice cream, you could have your milkshakes, whatever. But now the second part of the question is, that if the onions became fleshy, cut it, is the blender become fleshy? That's the next step. That is a big machlekes. And again, why do I have in my house, because I didn't finish the Shulchan Aruch, I want to just say something, that in Shulchan Aruch it says the minig is that you should try to make sure not to mix things. You know, you should have a separate tablecloth, you should have a separate knife, you should have, Shulchan Aruch is very makbid. We didn't have a chance to see it, but later we'll see it. The Ramah says, make sure that the silverware are different silverwares. You could tell them, and make sure the simon, it has a simon that shouldn't mix them up. So Mamela, I tell people, that's why you should have a blender, separate blender. It's not so expensive. I have 2 microwave ovens. So one, we had a microwave oven. It's very interesting that when I got married, someone gave me a microwave oven for $180, 20 years ago. And then I was very frustrated because my teenagers were just messing things up with the, putting teens are teens, Baruch Hashem, and I bought in a Katznoch season $35 about 10 years ago. It works better than the $180 one. It was $35. You know, you wait.
Microwave?
The microwave is best. See, if when the children are young and they don't do anything, it's not a problem. When they start, warming the pizzas, and that's you get into trouble. People have told me that they have a microwave and it's clean, it's always covered. But I tell people that's minig. It'd be nice to have 2 separate microwaves. It's not expensive. It used to be very expensive. You could get inexpensive. So it's best because what happens is if it does spill, you forget to clean it up, and you don't realize it. You expect not to spill. So just the Shiurim says you should have 2 salt shakers. You have 2 tablecloths, 2 separate knives. You should have 2 separate microwaves. What do you say? Yeah, microwave is much more choma. Yeah, it stains. One second. A microwave oven is the most shalas I have. The most, teenagers don't listen to the mom, and every few weeks I put in a pizza without paper, without anything, on the fleischiger plate, in the fleischiger microwave. So I've learned that if you have to get a new plate, it's not worth it. Get a new microwave. That's what the ladies do. You could cash a microwave. The plate, you need a new plate. That's the problem.
How do you cash a microwave?
It's a whole. Let's not focus on cashing now. Yeah.
I have a knife that's never been used. If I hold the whole thing, and I cut an onion with that knife.
Yeah, it's called a parva knife.
Right. Then I cut a piece of meat with it.
The knife.
Does the knife become meaty at that point?
Well, the knife, see, cold meat really doesn't make it fleshig because it didn't absorb. But we have a minig, if you designate a knife for cutting meat, we are not going to remember if you cut cold meat, hot meat.
So
that's why we assume in Shulchan every knife.
You have to have yatzal in both to make a true meaty knife.
Yeah, so we cut it.
Most time does not happen.
That's not true. You have a piece of meat out of the pot, you cut it. That's yatzal this one. Just that view. That's not a true thing.
Okay, so now the next level,
True chef is supposed to let the meat rest 10 minutes.
What?
If a true chef, if you have hot meat, you're supposed to let it rest 10 minutes before you cut it.
But it's still warm.
So hot.
That's fine.
Flation onion. Okay, it was cut with a flation knife, it's flation. The onion is now flation. Now I put it aside, an hour later, that onion I cut with a knife.
A milchig knife.
A parv, or milk.
Parv knife is the problem is the blender, but blender. But the problem, right? But if you cut them in a milchig knife, you got to throw the onion away. The knife you should kasha. Really should kasha the knife too.
Plastic recyclable spoon. They throw away usually.
The what?
A plastic recyclable spoon. They usually you buy bulk. If you end up using it to eat yogurt and then you wash it, can you eat chicken soup with it?
Halachically speaking, if you wash it, you could, but we try not to do those things. And if you got a bulk, then just use another spoon. Right. Yeah, theoretically, you're right. I mean, halachically speaking, if you washed it and it's cold, then you can wash it well. Then it's you're right. No problem. We designate. We have a minig. It's old minig. In 1,000 years, this minig is. It's not a new minig. It's not a new Ashkenaz. It's a 1,000-year minig that we make sure to have a separate knife, separate tablecloths, and everything, separate salt shaker. It's very easy to make a mistake. Yes. One second, Mother has something.
You started off the conversation by saying the Mars is not by not okay. So how come this argument agree that we can do not by not by even if it's been there? Why should any of it never matter to us? If it's not by not.
If it's not by not, we are machman not to do it like a tchila. And the Svardim hold you could do it like a tchila.
So the rule is not far enough. Whatever the situation is, we're clearly shouldn't do it.
Yes, and then it's a machlokes how far we machman. So coming back to what we said, that's how we went off topic. Last week I said, what happens if you have a pot and you did not wash it well, you were lazy, and you cooked potatoes in the pot, and now you ate the potatoes. do you become fleshig even though it has the potato? See, we paskin that if you have potatoes, that you made it fleshig, you wanted to have a nice, like you just said, broth taste in it, a fleshig taste, you become fleshig. And the minig is, you wait 6 hours. What happens is someone was simple lazy. It happened one time many years ago in my own home. We have a lot of cooks when there's a lot of girls around. And was very annoyed with the other sister, and she didn't want to wash the pot out, and she made fried French, potatoes, potato sticks, whatever it's called. So, she didn't clean out the pot. So this is what Shiurim is talking about. The Shach says if he didn't clean out the pot, he had no intention the potato should become fleshy. Even though it has a fleshy taste, you did not become fleshy.
What if there's mamashus?
There's mamashus, it doesn't make a difference. Once there's mamashus, you become fleshy. It is just the sauce, not pieces of meat. Just have the sauce. If you have mamish tiny pieces of meat, then you become fleshy. There's nothing to talk about. Yeah, well, I don't know. You can. No, he says you have mamushas, you have pieces of meat, mamish. If it's, if it's not noticeable, I'm not talking about it. We're talking about there was just a taste. You left over the sauce. You left over the.
It's worse than not banat because there was sauce.
Yeah, and that is not banat, but still the Shach says that you do not become fleshig since you had no intention to make the potatoes fleshig. But you should rinse your mouth and you can have your milchiks.
Are we going to get back to the onion being the sliver of the whole thing?
We passed in the whole thing. Finished. That's what we machma.
Does the same apply for a dairy if you cut an onion with a dairy knife?
Yeah, so the onion with the dairy knife, right? The same thing, the exact same thing.
You only cut cold with that milking knife, so it's not really milk.
How do you know that? Who said you never?
If you know it yourself,
You don't know. You don't know. Hot cheese, hot blintzes, hot pizza. You don't know? Hot pizza? You never eat pizza?
I do, man.
And your own wife didn't take out a knife, cut the pizza?
I'm saying hypothetically, you know how to know.
It's very hard to say. We can't. Chazal say milsa daramin shalav. You know what that means? Something that you don't pay attention to, you don't remember. You can't go back and say, I know for sure. There's no halacha, we don't say such a thing. Yes.
Some restaurants with the French fries, some of the restaurants with French fries, they're putting oil that has some fat.
And they put it as Shem Yichud. I asked the restaurant. He reminds me this question.
Where does it become fleshy?
Yeah.
The customer.
Yes, this is they. I asked her because someone told me they put on the restaurants now. Someone said it over here. Someone told me, I forgot where. It's that the new sign, the RCC demands. Oh, I asked someone on my show told me the RCC demands the right if you use the fleshig oil to make French fries, they demand you should write that you became fleshig. Now I don't know what that means. Because in halacha, you would just become fleshig, rinse your mouth. Because they use the fleshig oil, fat, which they roasted things, and they reuse it to make French fries. And the reason they do it, to give it a taste.
That's worse.
So then, if you give it a taste, then that's why then it's a problem.
What are the shticklots that are floating around?
Forget just saying, if it's a Shem Yichud to give it a taste, then according to Mechaber, the Getchila, you become fleshig, and you got a problem.
That's 6 hours.
6 hours. We have a minig to wait 6 hours. Now there are people who don't have this minig, but the Shiurim it's a mechloikes, but the Shiurim says, and whoever I asked always waited 6 hours. If you ate I can't speak for the Sfardim. That's what because it's the Chachmas Odom, the Pnimi Godom, the Ashkenaz Yechrein Machma. They hold that what the restaurants do again, they put fleshig oil into the French fries. They want to have a nice, it's a better tasting thing. You become fleshig. You do. I asked the see, you're not into food, but you ask. He's not here. We had a caterer.
To add on to that, if they're using the oil as this big vats of oil they have McDonald's, if they're using the oil and they're cooking French fries in one basket and they're cooking deep frying some chicken in another, the oil is for sure fleshig.
Oil is fleshig, but they want that. Yeah, but they.
There's two different baskets.
But they want to use the leftover oil which from the fleshig they want because it gives us a good taste for that.
That's something different. You have a big vat of oil. You have two different baskets. One with French fries and one with. I don't care what the deal is. Just have this big vat of oil. Just putting it in two baskets. One has chicken. One has French fries. Is the French fries fleshig?
Well, if they don't become fleshig by mistake, it's spilled. No, you don't.
No, it's in the same exact.
They share the same oil, then you become fleshig. Yeah.
Same time.
Same time you become
It's
fleshig.
not the same time, you know.
It depends why, you know, if you meant, that's what I'm saying, that's the question, why they put it in. I spoke to a restaurant, no, they say tastes better. He told me clearly, the restaurant owner told me that the potatoes were fried with oil that has a fleshiger taste, has a better taste than the French. Now that, you do taste it, you don't know what you taste, you're not paying attention.
You get one without it.
Yeah, that's the better. That's the meat. No, they put the restaurants to make up a sign. I don't know which restaurant it was, and they made them put up a sign. You should know if you eat French fries, you become fleshig.
Maybe anything is something like catering kebab and it's not going to have like the fried eggplant or anything. Right. I mean, anything fried or inflation established, we have to assume is fleshig. No, they wouldn't fried. Why do you say? No, if a person, most caterers don't have separate hot deep frying.
No, here, no, I don't know. I don't know how they make your thing. If they make it this way, you're right. I have no idea. I rarely eat out, so I can't tell you. I can't answer the question.
I'm sorry. Forget about the taste. I want to leave away the taste. I take oil, deep fry the chicken in the oil. Take out the chicken. I put in potatoes. I'm not worried about the taste. Does that oil make potatoes like?
That's the question here. So now that's the question. So the shach says, if you did the oil because you wanted to save the oil, you have no intentions, it's a loss to throw there, you don't want, you don't become fleshy. But if your intentions is to have a taste, and the restaurant told me that it really is, the metzias is, it tastes better. They want it. Because as much as potatoes taste better when there's a little, then you become fleshy. Yes.
There's a piece of chicken at the bottom of the oil. You can't see it.
I don't know. That's if it has to be something noticeable. If it's that, if you see it, then if you ate it, you become fleshy. If you ask a hypothetical question, if piece of meat went in, and you ate that piece of meat, you become fleshy.
No, piece of meat went in, but you just fried chicken nuggets.
And I went.
You pulled it out, and now pieces at the bottom, and you're dropping in French fries.
That's just the taste. That's not the mimashas.
That's exactly what we're learning here.
That's just the taste.
That's what we're learning now.
I mean, that's just the taste. That's just the taste. Okay, now let's go back to Halacha Gimel. I know I'm going to repeat this 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks now. No, because it is confusing. No, it is confusing. Not everyone's understood that. It is confusing. I've taught this so many times to people, it is a little bit confusing. Okay. You know what's embarrassing? That some of the Bes Yaakov girls know this halacha better than the husbands.
Somebody has to know this.
A young man who got married to a LA girl comes to me a few years ago and he says, Rabbi, I need a lesson from you. Teach me what not banat is. I don't know, my wife is telling me things that I'm embarrassed. I don't know. Okay. So if a person ate a tavshe shabbos means if you put, like mamish this case, with our potatoes, you wanted the potatoes to have a fleshy taste. Nicht to lachen achre tavshe gewinnen. You allow to me ikradin, and the tire benaim ein in the reshus. Washing your hands is only in the reshus. You don't have to. Yes, not sichen yes netile that you do have to wash your hands. But again, our minig, all the chayyim say, is we are machmed that we do wait 6 hours. So do you want to eat cheese after the tavshe shabusa? You want cheese itself? or Yabuser Atzmai Achar Tavshe Gemina Chovelit Yudov. You know, the Chab brings it down just to I'll tell you what's Negeya, even though the meaning is not that way. Negeya if someone is not well. I mentioned whenever a person is not well, if it's only a minute with Machmer, you can be Mekel. I visit people in the hospital, more than once. And the guy's telling me he didn't eat anything and he became fleshig and he ate a chicken soup, an empty chicken soup, and then I said, eat the yogurt. Rabbi, it's not 6 hours. If you're in the hospital, you're allowed to eat the yogurt. And the rule is no one is in the hospital unless you're choli shesh b'skuna. If you're in the hospital, but the minig is, if you just ate a chicken soup, there's no chicken inside the soup, and just the potato sticks, of you just said, it has a flesh, we do wait 6 hours. But it's only a minig, the Shach and the Chonim say. Okay, it says, V'shumen shabusa dini kabus atzma. If you eat fat, a lot of people like to eat fat. I know, after the war, when my parents, came after the war, before the war, you know what it was expensive? A fat piece of meat. The fatter, the better. The rich people got the fattest part of the meat. Yeah, it was. So my kid said the fat has a din as meat itself. He says, the meaning is we machmed. You don't eat cheese after tavshe shabusik ma'achshel busa atzmoi. When leshanois lifroitz gather, do not change me put it's gather. Yeah, well, yeah. He says, "Miim ein busa b'tavshel." There is no meat in the tavshel. Action is bashel. It was cooked b'kdeira shabusa. And the fleshig amitter leachol achrov gevinna ve'baminig lahachmer. Chena hagim. So comes the shach and all the achronim and scream. When I cooked in the fleshig a pot potatoes, I don't become fleshig. You're not even put milchiks onto it. It's a not banat. The Ramuz is telling us a chiddush. I cooked potatoes in a fleshig a pot, and you're eating the potatoes now, you don't become fleshig, and you could eat milchiyad. What? I could even, not banat, you could put this. So that's the question over here. What is it? The Shach does not want to learn that. What the Rabbi says, why don't you say the Meshivin Gatchila? Doesn't want to say that because that is only a chumra over there, and the Ramuz is not going to come to say chumras over here. He says it's not mashmat way. So the Shach learns, the Machab is talking about, you had a pot, which you didn't clean. You were just lazily clean. You have no intention the potato should have a fleshy taste. Just cooked it inside. It does have a fleshy taste. But it was not intentional, you don't become fleshy. It's a big kula of the Shach. And the Beis Meir and the Kivega learn, it's talking about a nat bar nat. That means I cut an onion with a fleshig knife, and I put it into a salad, and I ate it. You don't become fleshig. You can't put sour cream into the salad because it's a double charev. Remember, charev is a nat bar nat also. You cut onions with a fleshig knife, it's a problem. But you ate the salad, you don't become fleshig. Okay? Time you should wash your hands in the middle. If you do it, that wash your hands and rinse your mouth. You should wash your hands. So also exactly what the Ramah means. But kids said many achronim learn that if you ate, the tafshel or Bosor, and they're not clear what the Ramah means. A big b'sichsich, but Al Kaponim is trying to tell you if there's any stuff in your hands got dirty, you must wash your hands from any fat and any what's his name? Yes.
Meat broth, right? Meat broth, that's only a minute, there's no pieces of.
Well, the meat broth, it means to just cook the meat in a liquid. That's a minute that you become fleshy for 6 hours.
It's a minute. It's
not all of it.
Not like chicken soup, because you can eat dairy afterwards if you needed to for
Same thing, it's just a minute.
And then again, the knife. I cut onions with it. It's a meat knife. That knife has onion. It's charef. Now, if I cut something later on, that does not communicate. If the knife is clean 2 weeks later, whatever, but that still cut the onion. Does it communicate a meat taste to a par of item?
No.
Yes, but it doesn't communicate.
No.
Well, even with the kadera, he's turning it after. If you're not after, we just put them together.
Right, that's the kasha with the shach es on the Ramah. Exactly what you're saying.
So here he's only mentioning United talking about it because it's rough.
Right, only after. That's the kasha shach es. When after, you're not even together. Especially as Svardi. Svardi not doing get chile even do it. That's the kasha. So the ma'isa, aluch al ma'isa, if you eat chicken soup, the minhag is to wait, even though it's an empty chicken soup, the minhag is to wait 6 hours. If you're sick, and if there's children in the home, you don't have to wait 6 hours. You know, we spoke about it last week. You have young children, even till 9 years old, if it's sure don't have to be machmir, even afterwards. It's only a minhag. If you're not feeling well, you know, you have to eat something, it's also just a minhag. But if the Charbon says, Poiditz geri yishchan enochash, that's a very, very sharp words. They're saying if a poiditz gather, a snake will bite you. It's not no blessings in your panasa. You want a blessing in your panasa, don't be making. Okay.
So if the child eats chicken or meat, I can 2 hours later still get milk?
How old is the child?
Whatever, 6, 7.
Yes. Till 9 years old.
It's like, see, for my mushrooms even, like actual flesh, I think it's only the broth.
You were here last week? No.
I think they're only the broth.
No. We said last week that till 9 years old. What?
Where does 9 come from?
9 come from the Mishnah says you shouldn't let a child fast in Yom Kippur till 9 years old. That's what the Mishnah says. A child to 9 years old needs the food, and they don't make him fast. We don't make him chinuch fast even an hour. You know, people don't know this. That a chinuch, you don't teach a child to fast till 9 years old. It's a Mishnah. I love when people are machmed the teeth. You don't let them.
You're not allowed to say?
You don't let them fast.
You're not allowed?
You don't allow them to. They shouldn't fast. Chazal said there is no mitzvah chinuch. It's interesting when they're young, they all want to fast and get bar mitzvah and they kvetch.
How about sneeze for a girl?
Sneeze has nothing. See, sneeze for a girl has nothing to do with the girl's age. It's our problem.
Yeah, what age does it start?
When really many hold 3 years old, but if you make it has to be a girl who who's attractive already. Today, unfortunately, a lot of sick people, everything's attractive to them. You know what I mean? See, sneeze is not. People ask me about going on Etzisov. I told someone I had to speak in Oakland. I went to check the ladies' mikveh. I think I said the story over maybe once, and they asked me to speak. And I didn't realize a bunch of professionals in the wealthy neighborhood. There was a judge even in the crowd, and there was a doctor, and there was so they asked me. I asked them, "Listen, can you mind if you separate men on one side? Who did I do already? I separate." So I said to the ladies, "No, you guys are the most special people. I have a problem, not you. It's my problem. It's not your problem. It's we men have the problem. We don't want you to. I don't treat you a second man. We are, we men are vigilant and we see, and that's how we men are."
But logically, it's not until she's considered an adult.
That's not true. Where do you take that from? That's not true. That's not true. No, that's not true. No one says that. The Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch is machlokes 3. Some say 5. Some say once his child is attractive. It's no. No.
Because pedophilia, you can't incorporate that as.
I'm going to say a child who's already 8 years old, 9 years old is for men have it hurim. I once heard the Biankev Kamenetsky say this way: we don't trust a shegitz in halacha. But he says the shegitz knows his taivas. So he says, Freud said that at the age of 8, 9, you have a taiva for already. Nu as Roshat gezuk machan hataiva, we could learn that they have to be sneezed for sure 8, 9. I just heard his words say this. Many say that, many people say that sneeze has nothing to do. Sneeze is to do because we men are around. There's no dinner. It's a dinner. We have a problem. Right, that's something that Rashi. I think the Babich Rebbe brings that Rashi. Someone showed me a sichas many years ago about the Rashi, about the Azariah. It's a. Okay, well, sneeze is important. You have to fight for sneeze. There's no person wants to have good children, wants to have elcha children. Sneeze is very important. I don't say to Rav. So if sneeze, a person should, teach his wife and children have to be sneeze. And tell them nothing to do. You are the most special person. We men, do you want men to look at you? You know, if a woman would know how men look at them, I guarantee you they'd be melach motznius. They have no idea what we men are all about. That's what I'm convinced. They would know how many people, like, you know, what I mean? You know, they think, you know, they see women get dressed for other women, not for men. That's what I was told. You know, they don't, if it's just one, you know, impress each other, but if a person, you know, if they would know that we walk out and this guy's gonna think about you, is fantasizing about you, you know, so you're not sneeze, they wouldn't think twice to do it. And, you know, they want that, but they don't realize it. Okay. Did you hear me about it, sneeze? Okay.
The place for a child,
Yeah.
would you say it's a problem to be mounted with a child for 6 hours?
Yeah, there's no reason a child needs to eat until 6 years old for sure. Some money
There's nothing in the house.
doesn't make a difference. Children need to eat. The children, your children don't open the fridge and say, "Ma, there's nothing to eat." Sounds familiar in my house. Oh, you only have a 1-year-old child. Sorry. Okay. Wait. Yes.
Even now, he's 1 year old. Why can't I just pick something that's...
At 1 year old, there's no chinuch at 1 year old. There's no chavim. I'm saying there's no chayev whatsoever chinuch by 1 year old. You know, I want to finish with the word. I driving here, I knew Nochem was going to be, and Nochem always asked me about Mashiach, so I will tell you a nice word that I said Shabbos. I explained to Shul that how is it that Mashiach is going to come in a minute? You know, for Hesach Hadas. How's that going to happen? And how's it going to happen? We're going to do tshuva, and Mashiach cannot come unless we do tshuva. You know, people do tshuva, it's such a tough thing to do tshuva. So I said, imagine, I gave the explanation, imagine there's a rapist who's in jail in Rikers Island. A Russian, nothing against the Russians here, a Russian foreigner, and he's caught as raping, they put him to Rikers Island, he's in prison now for life. And he writes to the president, and he has a gewaldig idea for the economy. A gewaldig idea. It's great, his idea. And the president, you know, likes it gewaldig. What do you think he's going to do with him? Maybe the best that we could imagine, he'll give him clemency and send him right back to Russia. The ladies are going to scream, you're letting a rapist out in the streets? You know? Hey, Yosef Atzadik is in jail. Avid, Ivri, you know, the Saramashkin was not very nice, didn't portray him as a nice person. He said there's a Nar, Avid, Ivri. There's a rule on the land. You cannot join the cabinet. Even a cabinet member, if you're a foreigner. Forgetting a king, forgetting a second in command. He comes out and he translates the dream, and they're so awed by him, they all agree to make him the ruler of the country. That's a modern azach. We can't even imagine. See, the koyach of Mashiach, the first Mashiach by Yosef was Yosef. So his koyach was, he gave a speech, and they were so awed, they all masked him to make him the Hiashalati Amashber. It's a modern azach. So I said the same way, Mashiach is going to come in 1 minute, he'll give a speech. Today, the whole world, they'll be on TV, on Welt is in the speech. They will be so awed by him that everyone's going to put everything down. Same thing that in the tshuva. The brothers are standing in front of Yosef. I have no idea who this guy is. He says one word, Ani Yosef. You know what the Medrash says he said, Ani Yosef? The Ani Yosef, they fainted because they realized how wrong they were the whole life. 22 years they held, there was a mitzvah to sell him, we were right, he was a troublemaker, and they say, Ani Yosef, they first realized, they were first frightened of this guy. Now they realized the truth was so painful, the Medrash says, they fainted. That's what he says, Ani Yosef. Then he says again, Ani Yosef twice. Why did he say twice? The first time they fainted. And now they came Malach Gavri out to how to revive them. So you see, with 2 words, Ani Yosef, everyone did tshuva. Mashiach is going to say the right words, 2 words, we'll all do tshuva. Okay. Hope you're malcham.
Well, of course, are you kidding me? It's not non-necessary. With the child, why? Because mamish knew, my son, let's say, the 1-year-old baby, he just had some place, yeah? I'll give him something hard. Why should I give him something milk?
Child needs milk.
No, but you said earlier that it's
Child needs milk. It's not fair chinuch. Children need milk. There's no chinuch.
He doesn't eat milk, let's say. I'll give you an example. He never milks.
But there's no chinuch. There's no reason you can't. There is no mitzvah chinuch.
No, but what about the thing you just said about a snake or something? What was that? I missed what you just said. That you said that it's so bad you shouldn't be machmer. I forgot what you said. It happened fast. You should not be machmer. You said a moment ago. If you put up too many walls, then the snakes get in.
No, the Shiurim says you should be machmer.